Hey you guys, it's Anie Delgado, and today I'm going to answer some questions you have for me. Okay, first question, let's go. What is my favorite color? I think I'd just say rainbow. If you haven't noticed, I just really like all of the colors interacting with each other. What's my favorite thing to cook? I would say that my favorite thing to cook is Cuban food because I'm really proud of my Cuban heritage. Really can't go wrong with Cuban food. It's literally comfort food. Rice and beans. My favorite dish is ropa vieja, and I recently learned how to make that, and I was just so proud of myself when I figured it out. I feel like also people don't really get to eat Cuban food very often, so I love being able to share my culture with my friends. My favorite fast food is Taco Bell. I'm obsessed with Taco Bell. Okay, here's why. So when I was younger, we didn't eat a lot of fast food, but my mom did take me to Taco Bell, and she thought when I was learning how to drive that it was a very important lesson to learn how to drive while eating a taco from Taco Bell, because I guess it was her favorite road trip kind of food. Shout out to my mom, thanks for teaching me how to drive, and my dad too. But yeah, so I kind of liked it then, but then like I moved to New York and we didn't have a lot of Taco Bells in the city, and when I came out to LA, I rediscovered my love for it, and I'm obsessed. If I'm in a bad mood, that is where I go. I am a very addictive texter, I guess. I don't know what it is about phone calls, but when I get a phone call, I kind of think I'm getting bad news or like something's happened. So I love getting texts. I have some friends that are big texters too, and we're just texting all day. But at the same time, sometimes I just like ghost people for like a couple of days. My favorite way to get in touch with people is in person, really. Instagram or TikTok, that's a hard one because I feel like I've met so many amazing people on Instagram, and also I'm better at using Instagram. Like TikTok's still a mystery to me a little, but I can just spend hours on TikTok. The best concert I've ever been to, this is hard because Coachella 2019 was literally like all of my dream concerts, one after another. I'm gonna have to say Tame Impala. I've seen Kevin Parker twice now. And he puts on a show. The visuals are amazing. Obviously his music just makes you want to dance, and the vibes are always great. I love Tame heads. I have a lot of favorite albums, and they change pretty frequently. Like one is In Rainbows by Radiohead, obviously Red by Taylor Swift, Currents by Tame Impala. I could go on, but my favorite album right now is Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. I was really late to listening to Phoebe Bridgers, but now I'm obsessed. I blast, I know it's the end, like, on the daily. My quarantine hobby was gardening. I really like taking care of things, and during quarantine, I really wanted to get a dog or a cat, but I'm hoping to go on tour next year, and so it didn't feel responsible to get an animal during COVID while we were stuck at home because I didn't know what my future would be after COVID, so instead, I got plants, and I have a lot of them. I'm growing a cucumber right now, and I'm very proud of it. Oh God, there are so many people I'd love to work with in the music industry. Some producers are Joel Little, Ricky Reed, obviously Max Martin, Benny Blanco, and like the ultimate would be Jack Antonoff. Because I'm a big Swiftie and a Lorde fan, I love Jack Antonoff's production. It's like my favorite thing ever. And in terms of artists, Taylor Swift would just be like the ultimate collaboration for me. There's so many other artists that I am obsessed with. Like because I'm a big Swiftie and a Lorde fan, I love Jack Antonoff's production. It's like my favorite thing ever. And in terms of artists, Taylor Swift would just be like the ultimate collaboration for me. There's so many other artists that I am obsessed with. Like I'd love to collab with Phoebe Bridgers. I'd love to collab with Lorde, Dua Lipa. So yeah. The person I look up to the most would probably be my mom and my dad together. It's a tie because they worked so hard to provide for me and my little brother. They've always worked hard so that we could do whatever we wanted with our lives, and I'm here doing what I love because of them. My dad is the son of 2 immigrants from Cuba, and he really worked his butt off to really have the American dream and pass it on to me, so I'll never not be so appreciative for that. My first pet was a hermit crab, very creatively named Krabby. He was great, and then when I was 13, I got my first dog named Max. My go-to karaoke song is Last Name by Carrie Underwood, or really any Carrie Underwood song, or You and I by Lady Gaga. I don't know, it just makes me, You and I just gives me like dive bar vibes, and that's usually where I'm singing karaoke. So the best advice I ever was given was from my mom. She basically told me not to waste my energy talking about people, and I think the way that I would translate it now is just like, why waste the negative energy? Like literally you're too busy. I think if I wasn't making music, I would want to go to law school and I would want to be a civil justice lawyer, because I feel like I have the skills to be a lawyer, or at least like the personality, the attitude. I want things to be fair all the time, and I do love a good argument or a good debate. And I really care about equal rights in this country, so that's something I'm really passionate about that I would do. My favorite book is Valley of the Dolls. That might be a weird one to some because it's not like this profound piece of literature, at least in the community. No one's really talking about Valley of the Dolls that much. It's more of like a cultural little piece of culture, but I thought the book was incredible, and I just thought that it commented really well on, or I don't know, it was written a long time ago, so I don't know that it was trying to comment on anything, but when I read it a few years ago, you know, in the 2020s or 2010s, I felt like the female experience is still really similar to the one described very tragically in Valley of the Dolls. So I loved the book for that reason, and I just thought it was a really interesting piece that like captured culture at that time too. The person I'd like to meet the most is probably Taylor Swift, because I grew up on her. I would have so many questions to ask about like songwriting and whatnot, but it would just be like cool to even be in her presence, but mostly it would be dope to just like watch her write. I am most looking forward to performing in 2022. I am really hoping that I get to go play some shows around the country, who knows, maybe around the world, so fingers crossed for that. The last movie that made me cry was Into the Wild, because it was just, I mean, he was just such a pure soul, and it's just too bad what happened. But yeah, it's a really sad story, but also just like kind of gives you faith in people. And it made me sad. My biggest musical inspiration, I've said her name many times today, but I'll say it again, Taylor Swift. She just is the person who made me want to write music, and I fell in love with her songwriting at such an early age that it lives rent-free in my mind, so that'd probably be her. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thank you so much for all of your questions. If you guys have more questions, leave them in the comments, and I will maybe make another one of these.